Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ian here, and today it has come 40 years since the first superhero blockbuster, Superman the movie, hit theaters. So today I'll be putting together the top 10 superhero movies. Well, the definition of a superhero movie is really vague, so many films were considered to this list, but I ended up to these choices. If you want, you can put your opinion of your favorite superhero movies down in the comments, and with that said, let's go into my list. At number 10 is X2 X-Men United. I think this movie very well continues the plot of the first movie and develops characters very well. The plot and the story in the movie are also really interesting to me, and the sequences are thrilling and well executed, and the pacing makes a really entertaining movie to watch from start to finish. The movie also mixes some new elements with some old ones, and I think that the combination works perfectly. If I have to say something negative about this movie, it would be that the plot kind of doesn't kick off very well in the first act, but otherwise, a really good movie. At number 9 is Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 makes an awesome job at giving depth to its characters while telling a good story, which I feel was far better than in the first one, and that's because it has very even tone. The plot lines are nicely connected and make sense inside the story, and it has some really entertaining scenes. Also, the scenes are so well made, and they made Deadpool 2 a very pleasant movie theater experience for me. Well, some of the jokes in this movie didn't really work, but mostly they did. So Deadpool 2 is probably the most fun superhero movie for me to watch. And at number 8 we have Guardians of the Galaxy. This movie is just very fun, light-hearted movie that still has compelling and interesting plot. And the characters in this movie are very likable and they work really well on screen, and the casting just fits so well. This movie also has beautiful visuals and pretty good score. The scenes hit their target, they can give you the impact they mean to and make you kind of feel the scene. Some may say that the structure of the plot is weak and an overused format, but that didn't stop me from enjoying this movie. Coming in number 7 is X-Men Days of Future Past. At first it might seem a hard task to connect the old and the new X-Men movies through time traveling, but this movie is able to pull it off really well. The plot is itself is pretty good, but what makes this movie so excellent is these little moments in film where you can see the mirroring of the time periods. Also, just the central idea of the plot is very interesting to me, and finale is fantastic filmmaking where it is impactful, exciting, and emotional all the same. This movie is definitely the best of the X-Men movies. At number 6 is Spider-Man 2. What I like about this movie is that it deepens the characters and the relationship between them and develops them so well. It also has an amazing villain that is constructed very well, and the plot is compelling and makes sense. And of course, I cannot dismiss the awesome cinematography and medicines which are perfectly constructed. For example, the train sequence, which is just so thrilling and so impactful and exciting that it is one of my favorite scenes in any superhero movie. On the negative side, some plot elements halfway through the film don't feel to fit the movie's tone, for example, the emo Peter part, but overall it's a very well constructed movie. Coming at number 5 is Captain America the Winter Soldier. This movie is exactly what I want out of a Captain America film. It's a political thriller slash action movie, and that works really well, and the movie's plot is constructed well. The elements come together very nicely, and how the movie is paced keeps the interest in it, and the scenes can be thrilling like the elevator scene or impactful like the duel between Steve and Bucky. Also, this movie is able to continue the elements of the first movie, so it's also a very good sequel, and it leaves some things hanging for the third movie, so it does what every sequel, in my opinion, should. Unfortunately, there wasn't much character development anywhere, but that's easy to forget while watching this. And at number 4 comes The Avengers. This is one of the best team-up movies of all time, hands down. The way how it gives room to every character to have their own little character arcs, it is still able to remain consistent, and it works so well because we don't need to be introduced to these characters anymore, but the plot can kick right off. I also like how they brought an element from every character to the story, and this really feels like comic book brought to life. So the cinematography is also done really well. Well, you could make an argument that the movie is mainly fan service, and yeah, I kind of agree, but it doesn't disturb me that much. Coming in number 3 is Thor Ragnarok. Now, this movie is again one of the most entertaining superhero movies. It's funny, the jokes are good and fitting, and it's a pleasant movie experience. But why it is so good is that it still has a really interesting plot, in my opinion, which pays off many elements previously set up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For example, gives a beautiful end to Odin and ties Hulk in it very well. Also, the movie has a well-constructed villain with interesting backstory, and Cate Blanchett just nails the role. Only thing that a little bit disturbs me is that the movie doesn't feel consistent with the first two Thor movies, although this was a big improvement of those. Next, at number 2 is Captain America Civil War, which is in my opinion the best MCU movie, the best Marvel movie, and the second best superhero movie. And actually this was the first Marvel movie I ever saw, so I might be a little biased towards it, but I still think it is a very good bringing the elements mainly set up by the Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron together, and how well the plot is constructed just amazes me when we got the logical continuation of Tony's and Steve's changed views of world and how they work in these circumstances, and despite all the characters and subplots it is able to have one main plotline centered around Captain America that still makes it the story of Captain Steve Rogers. So overall, this movie is just so well written, it deserves the number 2 spot. Before my number 1 pick, here are some honorable mention in release order: Iron Man, Deadpool, and Logan. And finally, at number 1 is The Dark Knight. Actually, the only non-Marvel movie on this list takes the number 1 spot, and that is because this movie's ways of storytelling are just brilliant, of how Gotham City now accepts Batman, and also giving him development of is he going to be a hero or a vigilante. Throw there an amazing villain, Heath Ledger's Joker, who I think is one of the best, if not the best, movie villain of all time, and it just makes a really compelling and interesting story from start to finish. Also, besides his brilliant way of storytelling, Christopher Nolan is able to craft some amazing scenes which are really fitting and entertaining. So this is not only my favorite superhero movie, it is one of my favorite movies ever. So here is my top 10. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for future content, and until next time guys, we'll see you later.